Let's see. Okay, I think I'm gonna have sound. Let's turn this off.
I think I'm gonna have sound.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, sounds good. I'm hearing some static. I wonder if it's my mic. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I think it might be my battery because I hear it. Let me do this. Let's do our intermission right quick. Oh, I hear it now. 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. That's what it was. The battery. Okay. It was the battery. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All right. Uh-oh. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. Blessed Shabbat. I am grateful to be back here at home. And today I'm going to be winging it solo. My Isha is not here, but I'm going to carry on. She's connecting through our live stream where continuing the celebration of our anniversary, and we're going to be going out of town. So some of you that live in the South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, possibly area, maybe next Shabbat, Yah's will, maybe we'll make it down there to Jacksonville. Moray Josiah is in Chicago this week, and on last Shabbat we were in Pittsburgh with Ima Hannah Yah in the congregation of Yahweh there in Pittsburgh. It was a blessed time. I'm not too sure whether or not I actually shared the stream, but it was just good seeing her. We go way back. Way back to the early 2000s. And what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and open up in prayer, and prayerfully you all are able to get the sounds coming through good. Father, we thank and praise you and bless you for this blessed Shabbat that you've allowed us to see. Thanking you for allowing us to have traveling mercies as we made it back home and as we endeavor to go back out again. We thank and praise you, Abba, for this. We come before you in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach, who came through 42 generations to enable us being grafted back into the olive tree. We do praise and thank you, Abba. And as we go forward in this Shabbat, it is our desire, it is our prayer that you forgive us of all of our transgressions. We may have transgressed against you and against one another. That you would empower us and enable us to confess our faults, as you said, one to another through the mouth of, I believe, was our ancestor Yaakov. You said to confess our faults one to another that we might be healed. And so we praise and we honor you for that. And we pray that as we endeavor to go into this lesson, this series, that you would strengthen the family, that you would enable us to be empowered to the full capacity, to the full max of what you call us to be a family first, and that we will be an example to all the families of the earth, as you made to the promise you made to our forefather Abraham, as you called him out from his family that were caught up into idolatry and paganism and turning their hearts and their whole passions away from the creator and of the universe and turning their hearts to the creation. As you have proclaimed through the mouth of Shaul, who says that they have turned the esteemed of Yah unto the images and have worshiped the creature and not the creator. So it is our desire that as we as families see that you called us, Abba, to be worshipers of you and not to be worshipers of the creation and the things that we even in our own hands have done, but that we would worship you, for you are the true and the living Elohim. And as we go forward in praise and adoration unto you, Abba, we look forward to you enabling us and empowering us to be all that you've called us to be in this time in our life, in this place, in this point, in this world. It is our desire that our lives be pleasing unto you, that others may look at us as an example as to what it means to walk in total authority on this planet that you've given us to rule over and to dominate. As we go into this lesson, Abba, we pray your blessings upon each and every person that's represented here now and those that may come later on and view this later on. We thank and praise you, Abba Yah. In the name of Yahshua HaMashiach, we say hallelujah. 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 Torah Yah. Amen. Hallelujah. Brothers and sisters, real quick, Exodus chapter 19. I got two scriptures today. I got my iPad. I got what else? Computer. I'm not gonna touch that damn. Let that do what it does. And we're gonna go ahead to Exodus chapter 19. It says the protocol for because if the problem that we have as family, the main primary problem we have as family is that we don't know who we are. But this book is designed to tell us who we are. But for some strange reason, the enemy has trapped us and have tricked us, has got us caught up in religion. And if somebody says something against what you believe, what your doctrine is, we get upset. But the Most High has called us to be a people, not a religion, but a people. All right. So Exodus chapter 19, 1 verses 1 through 6. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Mizraim. So you got to know, number one, as a family, that you are from the family of Yah, the children of Israel. That's who you are. It was stripped from you. It was taken from you, right? It was passed down that you was something else. And we did a series during Black History Month where we talked about the Israelites that came into Africa, that established kingdoms in Africa called Negro land. We read through the books. We read through Leo Africanus. We read books by Rudolph Windsor, who quoted a ton of other scholars to prove the point that the so-called African Americans and Negroes are not Hamites, but they are Asians, is what the book said. And when they say Asian, we're not talking about Chinese and Japanese. Okay. But they're talking about the people that sojourned, that originated in the land called the Mesopotamia, which is a Hellenized word, which came from the ancient land of Aram. Aram Naharaim, which in the Hebrew tongue means Aram is one of the sons of Shem. You go through the table of nations and see that. You go through the table of nations, you see that Shem had a son named Aram. And the land that Aram sojourned and grew and developed his family was called the land of Aram Naharaim, which means what? The land between the rivers, the two rivers. Genesis chapter 2 tells us that there was a river that went out from Eden. And in that river, it had the river Euphrates on the one end that went straight up into Europe. And then it had the other river called the Tigris. And then another river came out of it called Hiddekel. But the land is called Aram Naharaim. All right. The land, Haaretz means the land. Aram Ra'im. Ra'im means river. So the land between the two rivers. So if you get a good map and you look at the map where they have Iraq, right? Some people say Chirac. But when you look at the map, you will see that the map basically it shows you that is the land where Abraham came from, called Ur of the Chaldees, right? Now, let's continue, because I'm not into the lesson yet. I like to read our protocol to remind you who you are so you can understand why it is that even the politicians on the right and the left don't get this. But when you get it, when you understand who you are, then you understand that you are a part of the family of Yah, who adopted, oh my mercy, Abraham. The world calls Abraham. He was adopted into the family of Yah, the family of Yah in heaven. You got the family of Yah in heaven. You got the Father, you got the Son, and you got the Ruach, which is 7, not 1. 7 spirits of Yah. That's what we call the Holy Spirit, which is the 7 spirits of Yah. Then you have what? A host of angels, the Malachim, the messengers of Yah, that have what? 6 wings, not 2 wings. There is no Malachim that has 2 wings. They have 6 wings. All right, continue. So he says, in the 3rd month, when the children of Israel, that's who you are, were going forth out of the land of bondage, that's Egypt or Mizraim in the original tongue that they changed, they Hellenized it and changed it to Egypt. Right? The same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. Right? So why did the Most High pull Israel out of the land of captivity into the wilderness? So they can become a family. They can be adopted into the practices and the ways of the family. See, problems that we have many times, we marry somebody that are not willing to adopt to the customs and the practices of your family. They want to take their and bring their ways into your family and turn your hearts after their ways. Oh my. That's called incompatibility. It's called what? Being unequally yoked together with unbelievers, right? We're going to cover that in this lesson. So make a marker. I'm going to make a marker right quick for Deuteronomy chapter 7, but we're just getting something on the way to getting something here, right? Let the Ruach lead, right? All right. Now, He says, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. Now, why did the Most High pull Israel out of the world? Egypt is the world. Oh my. Because he wanted to teach Israel his ways so that Israel could be what? An living example to all the sons of Adam of how to live, how to dominate, to be absent from sickness, disease, poverty, social disadvantages, emotional disadvantages, oh my, physical disadvantages, right? I'm covering the five. I just kind of touched them and tapped into them, but we're not there yet, all right? Moshe went up to Yah, and Yah called him out of the mountain. So, another little side note, whenever the Most High calls us, he don't come down to our level. We was taught that. Throw that out. It's like ham. It's like salt. Mash his ham into salt. Throw all of it out. When the Most High calls us, he calls us up, not down. He calls us up. You know, we learned that years ago. Oh, God is a holy God. We don't believe that. We think we want to bring him down to our level. But he said, you want to come everywhere we see it in the prophets, when the Most High called people, what did he say? Come up. Let's go up to Jerusalem, right? That's the reason why when the Most High chose Jerusalem as his place, his city, he chose it that sits on a hill. Oh my. Jerusalem is on the top of a mountain. You better know it. I've been there. I've seen it. I seen it, as the kids say. The Most High chose a place on top of the mountain. Why? Because the mountain peaks is where you can look out over the whole valley and you can see miles and miles around. Why? It's a strategic location, right? So now he says, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you into myself. Now he says, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. So notice he said, if you keep my covenant. Now, somebody didn't throw a Mickey in the drink. They didn't gave you another covenant. But the Most High gave us a covenant that is the same covenant, as he said, the self-same covenant. It's not a new covenant. It is the same covenant that has been what? Repaired. Oh my. Go to Jeremiah chapter 31. He says, I will make a new covenant. Well, the word for new in Hebrew is the word kadash, which is the same word, the self-same word that's used for new moon. Right? So when we look up in the sky, we don't see a brand new moon or something we never seen before. What do we see? We see a moon that goes through phases that has been what? Repaired and refreshed, right? So Israel, oh my mercy. We went into captivity, right? Being purged, right? So now the Most High is empowering us and enabling us to be what? To be refreshed and to be what? Repaired. Oh my. To be repaired. While we have been the underdog, and many of the world don't know why it is that there's such a struggle and such a hard time in the hood amongst the so-called African Americans and Negroes, is because why? We're being put through the fire, right? We're going through the phases, right? Because you know the moon is fire, just like the sun. It's a ball of fire up in the heavens. So every man's work is being tried as by fire. Okay, that's what's happening. But until our eyes are spiritually open, bam, that's the first level of compatibility. Spiritual awareness. Aware of who formed you. Oh my. Aware of who created you, right? In knowing him, it empowers us and it enables us to know who we are. But if we don't know who he is, oh my, then we will definitely not know who we are. But we've been tricked and deceived into thinking that we need to know religion when the Most High said, no, you don't need to know religion. You need to know who I am. And when you know who I am, you know who you are because you know that you are a descendant of the one who I chose. Oh my. That's why you can't be like the world. Yahshua said it when he walked the face of earth. He said, you will be hated of all people. Now, somebody might try to spiritualize that, but the people of the book is hated, right? The Messiah said, Luke 21:24, you shall be led captive into all nations, and your land called Jerusalem, the world called Jerusalem, will be trodden down by a people that are not a people until their time is done. But their time is done when our time is done. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. So when we are the people who wake up to Yah's truth, that we are the people, the descendants of the people that he chose, and we in captivity, just like the prophet said, we wake up and return to the covenant of the Most High Yah and take our rightful place, suit up ourselves, put on our armor for full battle, put on the full armor of Yah. We might be able to stand against the evil, right? I was listening to this girl named Laurie Favors. I don't know if she knows more than what she's espousing on Sirius XM satellite radio on the Urban View. But she was talking about racism is a demon. But I digress. I'm not going to get off into that. But the tool, oh my, that's it. The tool of racism is used to do what? Whip Israel into shape. To do what? To look up and recognize I need Yah to fight my battle. And therefore, when he fights my battle, he puts me in place. And when I'm in place, everything else got to go away. Why? Because he said, if you obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, you shall be a peculiar treasure, right? Unto me above all people of the earth. The people of the earth want to keep you down. They don't want you to know that you are part of that family, that you are a direct descendant of the family that the Most High chose. They want to keep you under their feet, keep you ignorant, keep you caught up in religion and not in the knowledge of the covenant. There is a difference between religion and the covenant. I'm not into the lesson yet. I'm just kind of letting the Ruach just deal with this call. Because when we understand the call that you are the family of the called ones. And because the world, it says in Psalms, they have taken crafty counsel against thy hidden ones. Oh my. Your identity has been hidden, right? Your identity has been hidden. I think I'm getting a little streaming issue, but we'll get through it. But your identity has been hidden, but now, oh my, you tapped into this channel, right? You tapped into some other message board. Now, your hidden identity has been revealed. You are a descendant of the one who the Most High chose, called Abraham. Right? We'll deal with it. Let me get back because I done jumped over. All right. So he says, and you shall be, verse 6. This is Exodus chapter 19. Somebody said, brother, I never knew that was in the Bible. You're looking at it right now. Open it up. Look at it. Don't take nothing I say. You don't have to believe a word I say. If I can't show it to you in the book, I might as well close the book, shut up, and not say another word. But if I open up this book that you carry, decorated book, you have little handles on it. I guess they have handles now on the covers. They had them back then, the little cute covers for the Bible. Match your outfit. Well, the Most High is calling you today to open up that book. All right. In Exodus chapter 19, verse 6, he says, you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. So who was he talking about? The people that he said to obey my voice, right? Man shall not live by bread alone, right? But by every word not every word that comes from your denomination, right? Not every word that comes from your bishop, from your pope, from your apostle, from your prophet, from your evangelist, but man shall live by every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. Now, some people call it with these so-called prophets. If it doesn't line up, if he speaks not according to the law, right, and testament, right, there's no truth in them. So people get over with that and say, well, it says that he doesn't do a thing in the earth unless he reveals to his servants, the prophets. He's already done that. So any prophet today that's speaking of anything in current time is going to speak according to the law and to the prophets. That's what makes you a prophet. You speak according to the law and the prophet. Now I'm kind of giving you a whole lot in a little bit, right? Little dab, do you? Well, that was more than a dab. That was like abstract info session. But let me get back. All right. So he said, Moses came, he said, you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, verse 6, and a set apart nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel. So stop. So now as we progress into the lesson, right? The first thing we got to get on our belt is number one. You are the family of Yah. He says, you only have I known, right? You only have I known. That's what the Most High said. Let's see if we can get it. All right, let's go there. You only have I known. All right. See, I like Google. She goes right straight. I don't have to look it up. So let's read Amos real quick. Amos chapter 3. So if you're like me, you don't have a photographic memory of where they are, it's okay. That's why they make the table of contents. For people like me, I'm not as educated as some of these doctors of divinity, but I do know how to get a little help when I need it, right? So if I don't know where it is, and I know how I can find where it is, right? Where is this table of contents at? This is, I'm actually using this is a good reference historical text. This is the original African Heritage Edition. That's what I'm using here. But sometimes the nicer, the more information that the so-called Bible has, the more complicated it is. So this is an old one. This is a keyword study Bible. This is the first book. This is the first Bible that I bought, not the actual one here, but this is a copy of the original one I bought that got me into studying the Hebrew. And I was like, man, what is that in the back of this? You look in the back of this, you can have a Strong's Hebrew and Greek lexicon, right? I'm like, what is that? Do you know what a Hebrew and Greek, Hebrew, and this one says Hebrew and Chaldean dictionary. Do you know what a Hebrew and Chaldean dictionary is? I didn't know what it was when I got this. So you got the Hebrew and Greek Chaldean. So now what I want to do is my issue, she likes using this. So she got pads in it. I got to move. She got notepads. I got to move it out the way so I can get to what I'm looking for. All right. So what I say, Amos 3, right? Amos 3 and 2. All right. Okay. We're going to do that. So we go to the table of contents. This is in the front of the book. So if you don't know where something is, it's okay. It don't make you smarter because you can flip to it. Right. What makes you smart is you're able to do the proper application of what you read. Knowing where it is means nothing if you don't know how to properly apply it. So don't make somebody feel small because they can quote verse, quote. Quoting is not it. What's in it is the application. That's what we want, right? So we look at this and we're going to find Amos. Okay, now it said on mine, it says 1,114. See, praise y'all for the table of contents. 1,114. So all I got to do is find page 1,114. Right? You go to 1,114. And it says, there it is. It's Amos. I said we want to go to chapter 3. So we're going to read verse 1 and 2. We're going to get and break this thing down. And prayerfully, we're going to all be blessed from the 5 levels of compatibility. 5 levels of compatibility for every relationship. I guarantee you, if you follow the litmus test of the 5 levels of compatibility, you'll never choose the wrong mate again. You'll never choose the wrong job again. You'll never choose the wrong friends again. You might have to be by yourself for a while until that pair comes up. But I guarantee if you follow the litmus test that the Most High gave me, the 5 levels, which had to do with the 5 fingers on this hand, on the right hand, called the hand, right? You got hand, you got 10 fingers. You got 2 hands, right hand. We dealing with the right hand, the 5, right? 5. The 5. Oh, pardon me. The 5 corresponds with the 5 physical senses, right? What are the 5 physical senses? All right, we learned that in school, right? The eye gate, right? The ear gate, right? The nose gate, right? The touch. And what I miss? Ear, eye, nose, touch. I missed one. Somebody help me out here. Taste, smell, see, hear, and feel. That's it. Feel. The ability to be able to feel a texture. You can say, oh, you can feel a texture. Say, oh, that's cotton, right? So that's 5. So 5 deals with humanity. So the 5 levels helps us to deal with humanity, which is what? A shadow of spirituality. Oh, my mercy. We're going to break it down. All right, now, so here's what I want you to get. In Amos chapter 3, verse 1, it says what? It says, hear the word that Yah has spoken against you. Who is he talking to? He's talking to the children of Israel in the mountain, right? Who's it applicable to today? The children of Israel, wherever they may be. And those that have joined the covenant of Israel. This is not a racist thing. If you are joined to the covenant, I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, or red. You can be a part of the family of Yah. Because why? Because it's not about race or color. Satan is a demon, which is what the sister said, that gave us racism or superior race. That is a trick of the devil. Right? What makes you superior is that you obey, as we read in Exodus chapter 19, if you obey his voice and keep his covenant, that's when you become superior. So to be an Israelite means that I am one in the family of Yah that has a house rule and regulation. Okay, if I want to be a part of the family, there are rules that we must abide by. That's why this whole deception that we're not under the law is the biggest lie and deception that Satan has spit out the mouth of the preachers to get you on the bad end of the Most High. Even Shaul said in Colossians, he said, the wrath of Yah comes against the children of disobedience. Disobedience to what? Nobody ever asked the question. Why is wrath of Yah coming on the children of disobedience? What are they disobeying? Every word that proceeds out of his mouth. That's what they're disobeying, right? They're not obeying Yah. They're obeying their religious organization. They're obeying their pastor. They're obeying their bishop. They're obeying their pope. They're obeying their minister. Even in Islam, they're obeying the minister. Respect to Minister Louis Farrakhan. He ought to be my father. But if I or anybody else don't teach you to look to the one that made you, don't worry about what religion I appear to have. Religion is vain. Am I following the protocol of what the Most High said? Now let's get back. So Amos said what? He said, hear the word of Yah has spoken against you, O children of Israel. So you are the family of Yah. You got to hear it now. You got to understand now. You're not an African American. Africa is a continent. America is a continent. Which nation did you come from? Ghana, Nigeria, Chad, Ivory Coast. Where'd you come from? Okay. America's a continent. Everybody in America came from somewhere. You trace the roots back. Oh, I'm from Ireland. Oh, I'm from Poland. Oh, I'm from Russia, right? Ukraine, right? Oh, I'm from Italy. Oh, I'm from Spain. Yeah, okay. Where are you from? Africa. Ah, my mercy. But you say you know who you are. No, you don't. You say, I know who I am in Christ. That's what you say. I heard you say, I used to say it, right? No, you don't know who you are. Because the Messiah himself said, if you love me, you would obey my Father. That's what he told the woman at the well. He said, you don't know what salvation is all about. This is the one that we follow, that we pattern after. He told the woman at the well, you don't know what salvation is about. Oh, my mercy. He says salvation is of the Israelites. And there is a protocol that the family of Israel must follow to be in right standings with the family. Or what will happen? The Jehovah's Witness got it right. If you break the bylaws of that Jehovah's Witness organization, they do what? Disfellowship you. So if you're not in compliance and obedience to your belief, then you've been what? Even Shaul, I think was it Shaul that said it? He said, if you find, let me make sure I get it right. Let me get back, because I went to another thought. Let me get back to Amos. All right. But let me just say this about that. He said, take the person, take one more with you. And if they don't hear you, take 2 or 3, I think it was, something like that. Y'all help me out. And if they don't hear them, he said what? Regard them as a publican and as a heathen. Right? In other words, They are disfellowship from the family of Yah if they don't want to obey Yah's word. Oh, my mercy. He didn't say nothing about obeying your denomination, nothing about obeying your religion and your church. He said, if you obey this book that you carry that has the original covenant. Somebody said, brother, you punching the Bible. I got in trouble many years ago by doing that by an elder. He said, why are you punching the Bible? I said, brother, you know what? This is not the Most High. I'm not striking the stone. Okay, if you're offended by that, okay, I apologize. All right, let's go on. Now, so Amos 3, he says, and one second half, he says, you are the children of Israel against the whole family. There it is. There it is. Against the whole family. Somebody said, brother, family's in there. Look, family. We talking about what? The family, right? So we got to first get the first primary focus of what the family consists of before we can deal with our current climate and get ourselves in the proper perspective of family, because we have a watered down, washed mentality, not clear over understanding in this case of what a family is. So when we get the clarity and we get the spiritual perception of what a family is and the purpose of the family, then we got it on lockdown, right? Until we get that, we're going to always bump heads, right? Now, so let's look at it again. He says, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Mizraim, saying. So he called the mixed multitude, brothers and sisters. It was not just the 12 tribes. When they left out of Egypt, they left out of mixed multitude. Most High said one law for all, right? I'm going to bring the stranger, those that sojourn among you, and those that are homeborn. He said, it shall be one law. That's in Exodus chapter, I think 13, I think it is. One law for all. But religion has said, we're not under the law. Well, how can you become a family when there is no law that keeps the family glued together? Oh, my mercy. Anything happens. Anything goes, right? Whatever you do, it says somewhere in the page of this book, it said every man did what was right in his own eyes. When you don't, that's what happens. When you don't have no law, people do what is right in their own eyes. So it is your fault that the world is the way it is because your preachers have taught them you don't have to obey the laws. Now you want to get mad because a man wants to marry a man, which is wrong. A woman wants to marry a woman, which is wrong. A man wants to molest a child, which is wrong. But you want to throw out Yah's law, but now when it's convenient, you want to push it. Oh, my mercy. Y'all don't like me now. All right. So Amos said that Israel was the family. So what does a family consist of? A family consists of what? A male and a female that can reproduce after his kind. Oh, let me hit this while I'm here, right? A man and a man cannot produce a child. A woman and a woman cannot produce a child. You need the seed and you need that which houses the seed. Oh, my mercy. Okay? We call it the egg. Okay? Now, with that said, that ought to be crystal clear. That's one aspect and perspective of the covenant, which it constitutes what a family consists of. A man and a woman who can reproduce. All right? It's not to make you feel small or make you feel condemned. But everything has a purpose. You know, it says in Ecclesiastes, everything there is a season, right? And a purpose to everything, right? So If it doesn't have purpose, then what? That's why GMO, right? Genetically modified organisms, straight demonic. Why? It has no nutritional value. Why? Because it is electrically engineered so that they can sell a product. So why would you want an imitation when you could have something that's going to bring life? Oh my mercy. So when you have to alter something to make it to appear to be productive, then guess what? It goes against the covenant of what? Yah, which is what? The law that he did what? Pass down to the family on the earth. See how that works now? Let's continue. So the Most High said, he said, verse 2, this is who you are. This is why you have a struggle. This is why you have absence of fathers in the so-called African-American home. This is why you got fathers who spread seed all over the world and don't want to take care of not one of his seeds. You are not a man. You are just a sperm donor. Any man that won't take care of his own household, the scripture says, is worse than an infidel. No one and nothing should stop you from taking care of the life that you brought into this world. No excuses. It's time out for excuses now. Reason why we're in the conditions we're in now is because a deadbeat dad didn't want to take his responsibility. He wanted to do this. He wanted to follow along with the Adam syndrome and blame everybody else for him not doing what he's supposed to do. So we got a lot of sisters in this life that have holes in their lives because father was absent. Or maybe he was present, but he wasn't taking his rightful place. So there you have sensitive, effeminate men, right? Or you have domineering women because daddy wasn't present. Oh my, y'all don't like me now. We're talking about family. We're not condemning you because you are the way you are. We're just explaining to you so you can know how you become who you are. And now you can look at it and do the proper evaluation. And let's make the necessary changes to do what? To be productive. I tell them all the time, I talk straight. I'm a straight shooter. Because you can produce a child does not make you a man or a woman. Okay? But the world wants to believe that because you got children, that makes you a man. Because you got children, that makes you a woman. Because you got your own house, that makes you a man or a woman. The house doesn't make the person. Children don't make the person. But being a person that is what? Following the contract, the covenant. As a father, you are leading. Father's supposed to train up the child. If you run in the streets acting like you their age, you ain't training them. You're not an example. You wonder why the kid, I done went off somewhere, but I'm gonna go with this right while I'm here. You wonder why your children have no respect for you is because you're MIA, missing in action. They can't count on you. The mama talk down, and that's not right, but the mama talk down about you because you're not in your place. And you're not in your place because your father wasn't in his place. And then we grew up, many of us not having balance. Too much on one end and not enough on the other, right? In church all the time, you don't know nothing about the practicality of life. You're in every revival, in every church service, but when it comes to credit and things of that nature and how to build a business and how to be successfully independent, you don't know nothing about that because you know how to go to church. You know how to go to the prayer meeting, and those are important things. You know how to sing on the choir. You know how to play the drums, right? You know how to look out over the audience and see that pretty girl that you're like, oh yeah, I'm like, call me. Yeah, call me. He like me. You don't even know how we're gonna get to that. You don't even know how to do the litmus test on whether or not this man is right for you. But you dare to open up your heart and your bedroom, I'm gonna keep it PG. How to open up your heart and your bedroom to a man who you don't even know other than the fact that he looks good. Got muscles. Everybody likes him. Everybody wants him, right? So now you do what? You fall for the Mickey and the drink. The man is not stable. Man is not consistent. The man doesn't know how to be responsible because why? In many cases, his father wasn't responsible, so he didn't have an example to look at. His mama outside cutting the grass while he's sitting in front of the TV, drinking beer and eating pizza or pig feet. Mama outside cutting the grass, taking the trash out, right? Mowing the lawn. I said that already. And dad is sitting in front of the TV watching boxing back in those days, right? WWF was it WWF, Worldwide Federation of Wrestling. Mama, go to that freeway and get me a beer, honey. She working like a Hebrew slave, and he got her running to the kitchen, getting her a beer. He's sitting on the couch like a couch potato, sucking on pig feet, chitlins, and all of that while mother is doing all the work. And now the children's growing up and they seeing this. So what do? They learn that, oh, this is what it means to be dad. Mom goes in the kitchen and does what dad tells her to do. And then we remember the episode on Good Times when Florida was trying to establish her home because James Evans, he was a workaholic, but he had no involvement in his children's life to develop them other than the fact that he was working like a Hebrew slave to try to bring food home. Not knowing that it's more to a father besides just being a breadwinner. We was taught that the man is the breadwinner, woman's the nurturer. Where can we read that? All right. Now that I got that off my chest, let's get back. So Amos chapter 3, Mosai said in verse 2, he said, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. So he says it again. He calls Israel a family. So we go back to it again. A family has rules and regulations, right? And we're going to go to Genesis in a minute because I want to show you what the Most High said to Abraham, the father of the belief, or the world calls the faith, right? All right, now, so he said, you only have I known of all the families. See that? You only have I known of all the families of the earth. So the Most High recognizes what? Families. He didn't say, you only have I known of all the sperm donors of the earth, right? Of all the whoremongers of the earth, right? No, he didn't say that. Of all the loose living people of the earth. No, he said of the families of the earth. You only have I known of all the families. Do you know what a family is? If you have a son or a daughter and they have a mother, whether they live in the same household as yours or not, they're still your family. She's just an extension of your family, even though you're not lawfully married to her. If you have a child by her, she's still your family. So there's a word that starts with the letter R, which causes a lot of chaos. What is that word R? Respect. You don't have to like a person to respect them. If she's the mother of your children and you don't live with her, respect her as the mother enough to say, I'm going to come by and see my children that I brought into this world to see how I can be an aid in their social. I'm going to get ready to cover it into the social part of their life, right? Or into the emotional part of their life, right? I'm talking about the 5. We didn't get there yet, but I'm kind of giving you a precursor, right? The father has to have a responsibility to the social and the emotional part of that child's life. Otherwise, the child's going to grow up and they're going to be socially deficient or emotionally deficient. And then that socially and emotionally deficient will bring that baggage into the life of a woman who may or may not have social efficiency and emotional efficiency. So now you got 2 people together that's got a dilemma. If she doesn't have a social efficiency and an emotional efficiency, both together are going to have a dilemma. And then what happens after that? Then they give birth to a child. And both of them are socially deficient and emotionally deficient. And now the child is born and the child now has a social and emotional deficiency. You see how this repeats itself? All right. Let me go back. So Amos 3, he says, For you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Right? Now, in the Decalogue, we call it 10 Commandments. The Most High told them, he said, children, obey your parents. Well, listen, if your parents is not there, how you going to obey them? But you mad because your child won't respect you, but you're not present. Well, I had a fight with his mother, so I don't deal with them because I don't like the mother. It ain't got nothing to do with those kids you brought into the world. Suck it up. Get over it. Because you have a son or a daughter that you need to care for. Yeah, but I feel uncomfortable when I go around her. That's your problem. Not at the expense of those children. You go around the children, sit down at the table, have a discussion. Me and your mother not together, right? We're not going to go into detail as to why we're not together. Things happen. I made some bad decisions. She made some bad decisions. Here we are. I'm your father. I'm still going to be in your life. I'm going to be present. Now, this incidentally happens to come up right when the world is celebrating tomorrow, Mother's Day. See that? That's to show you how backwards the world is. Mother's Day comes before Father's Day. Figure that one out. So is it because the father's absent that the reason why they have Father's Day behind Mother's Day? Who knows why? But all we know is that the Most High said what? He looks at the families by the heads, which is who? The fathers. So if the head is missing, then what happens? It's total chaos in the family because there's no structure. And if there's no structure, then the child is going to grow up misdirected and misguided and it's going to be lost. As we said coming up, they're going to be a lost ball in high weeds. Why? Because they have no direction. Wherever the wind blows, that's where the ball goes. The ball can end up in the ditch. Ball can end up in the garbage can. Ball can end up over the cliff. Right? Wherever the wind blows, that's where the ball goes. But if you're there to guide that child in the 5 levels of compatibility, that child can be whole. We're going to cover that in a second. All right. Now, I mentioned Abraham. So let's go back to Abraham chapter 13. I believe it is. All right. Genesis. Let me go with the other Bible. My grandson ripped some pages out of this one. The child's supposed to read this, the word, not tear the pages out. Well, I digress. Let me see. Genesis chapter 13. All right. Let's ask Google first. By you shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Okay, so it says Genesis 28. Is that right? Is that right? That's not the one I want. Let's go with what I know. Let's see. Genesis chapter 13. I said 13, right? Please pardon me. I got caught up here. I'm not looking at the comments and stuff. Let's see. I don't know. I can't tell if I'm getting any comments or not. But let's see. Genesis chapter 15. Now, I'm going to kind of cut this lesson short because I didn't kind of got a little caught up. But I wanted to make it as practical as possible. But you know how I do. And the Most High comes upon me, I just lose it. So I want to be as practical as possible. But Genesis chapter, why can't I find the pages in this book? It got so many. This Bible has so many pictures in it. I can't get to the pages for the pictures. Okay, here we go. Oh my mercy. All right. Is it 13? All right, let's see. Genesis 12. Let's read a little bit of it. Genesis 12. Genesis 12, first book in the 66 books. You don't have to look in cable contents for that. Just go to the first book and open up Genesis 12. Now, y'all had said unto Abram, get out from your country and from your kindred and from your father's house into a land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless them that bless you and curse him that curse you. And in you shall all the families of the earth be blessed. See that? So the Most High is concerned about families, right? Now, I'm going to go straight to my 5 points. I don't know how long I've been going for. I can't see my stream information. Let me see. Hold on a second. See if I can see how long have I been going for. Okay, so I've been going for 1 hour. Okay, not too bad. Okay, so the Most High said to Abram, he says, I will bless them, verse 3, that bless thee and curse him that curse thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So the Most High wants to bless families. So how is a family defined? Right? If we go back to Genesis, all right, chapter 2, right? Go to Genesis chapter 2. We're going to be practical. I'm gonna lose a little bit of the excitement. We're going to get practical for a minute because, listen, brothers and sisters, we got some serious problems. If you have a family that's broken and they go to an assembly, a mosque, a church, or whatever you have it, you're going to have a broken bond because broken. You said, "What's the brother? The place is for broken people." So at what point in time if the church is for broken people, as people say, then at what point in time does that person that's broken go there and be made whole intellectually with practical information that they can go back home to their family and make their family whole, right? So we have to get to the practicality of it to make a family whole. Some of us are not whole. We don't know we're not whole. We don't know why we have the problem we have. The problem we have is because we are not whole, brothers and sisters. I'm going to show you this, right? So now, the Most High said, chapter 2, verse 7. Yah called, and Yah formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. Now, that's another lesson. I can get off into the wind and all of that because that's another lesson. And Yah planted a garden eastward in Eden, right? And there he put the man whom he had formed. So, first thing we see here is that the Most High was a father. And he led by what? Example. He did what? He planted a garden. In other words, the Most High himself that could speak things into being showed man this is the way the law works. You put a seed in the ground. You don't just name it whatever you want it to be, name it. That's the craziest doctrine I've ever heard. But you take the seed that the Most High gave you. That's what he did. The Most High himself took of his substance and planted it in the garden. Look what it says. It said, Yah planted a garden eastward in Eden. So in other words, after he rested the seventh day, hint, first day of the week, he didn't go to church. He went to the garden and he did what? Planted. Right? He planted a garden. And there he put the man. He didn't have, hey, do you want to go man that garden? He didn't tell, hey, I got a suggestion. Why don't you go over there and man that garden? I was playing. No, he didn't. He put him in the garden. See? He was teaching him that if you're going to be the father of a family, the first thing you got to learn is responsibility. You have to learn how life works. Life works through what? Through seed. So if you bring a child into the world, the child comes into the world through seed. So what do? When you plant the seed, brothers and sisters, oh my mercy, what do? Watch what he tells them to do. He says he planted the garden and put the man who he had formed, and out of the ground made Yah to grow every tree that is pleasant for sight and good for food. The tree of life was in the midst of the garden, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out from Eden, we covered that earlier, from the garden. And from there it was parted and became into four heads, right? The name of the one was Pison, that is, that compassed the whole land of Havilah, where there's gold. And we're not going to get off the subject of explaining these places because that's not what the lesson is about. And the gold of the land is good. There is Delum and onyx stone. The name of the second was Gihon. Okay, let's skip down. Let's get down to the meat where we at. Okay, skip through all of that. That's wonderful stuff. It's another lesson, right? Now, it says, verse 20. This is chapter 2, verse 20. And Adam gave names to all the cattle, fowl of the air, to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found a helpmeet for him. Stop. Before a man can be a man, the Most High is laying the law here, showing you that you have to be what? Responsible. Before the Most High brought him a rib, he spent, I don't know how many years that was. We don't know how long it's not given in the text, but we know the Most High spent all those years, however long it was, developing the man. How to be not a sperm donor, but a man to learn to be responsible without an agent of a sweetheart or a wife or a woman. So you become a man when you learn responsibility. That's the problem. We got too many boys having children. In some cases, it's not your fault. Some cases it is. Okay? It had to do with choice. Once it's an accident. 2 times could be a coincidence, but 3 times, they say 3 strikes you out. First time is a mistake. So if you keep repeating the same mistakes over, then it is not a mistake. It is a conscious decision. Well, I don't know how she got pregnant. That's where the father was supposed to be there teaching you about the birds and the bees. Teaching you responsibility that if you do that, that's going to bring this to pass. Right? So if you don't want a child, then what you got to do is you got to either 1, contain yourself, or 2, learn to be responsible and make a good quality decision to choose. In our case, back then you was given a spouse. Now we can choose, right? We still can't get it right. We can choose who we want to be, but we still can't get it right. Back then, they didn't have a choice. They was given. It was chosen, right? All right. I digress. So all this time, the Most High was teaching teaching Adam how to be responsible, how to plant, how to till the ground, how to watch over the things, to watch over the thing so that it can produce the result in life that you want. We want stuff to work like automatic. We want to just walk out, right? And we don't want to have to cut the grass. We want to just walk out and the grass cut itself, right? We want to eat everything in the house, put trash in the trash can, and hope that we'll go in the kitchen and the trash can is empty, right? We want to wear clothes and throw them in the floor and expect the clothes to walk themselves into the laundry room or to wherever you go wash your clothes, go to the laundromat. We want the clothes to go to the laundromat, wash themselves and come back and put themselves in the drawer, right? Most High didn't teach Adam that. He taught Adam how to be responsible for yourself first. And when you learn how to be responsible for yourself, then you can be responsible for a wife and children. So the Most High was an example of a father teaching him what? The principles of life. Seed time and harvest time, right? All right. Now, which leads us to verse 21. Yah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yah had taken from the man, he made a woman and brought her unto the man. Oh my. It wasn't like Adam had any choices, right? Ah, yeah, I like that. It's about 5 feet 8, 36, 24, 36. No. He didn't have no choice. It wasn't a smorgasbord. He could look down the avenue. Okay, I like that type right there. She got long eyelashes, long fingernails, smell good, matching outfit. No. Adam didn't have none of that, but we have the ability today to choose what we want, but yet we still don't get it right. You ever stop and wonder why? Okay. Now, so he brought the woman to him for the sole purpose and intent for him to be her cover and to do what? to train her just like he trained him. Because what's going to happen eventually is, if I'm trained and I got a wife who's not trained, who has no value of life, she don't know nothing about seed time and harvest. She don't know how to cook. She don't know how to clean. She don't know how to be virtuous or none of the above. Why would I have a son or daughter by her? Because she looks good. Because she got 36, 24, 36. Y'all know that song. She's a brick house. Mighty, mighty for letting it all hang out. So the Most High taught Adam's responsibility. Now the Most High brought the woman to him for him to be what? For him to be, watch what it says here. All right, let's get back into the text. He said, the rib, verse 22, which Yah had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her to him. And Adam said, let me back up first. I got to go back. Verse 20, I want to point this out. Verse 20 says, Adam gave names to all the cattle of the fowl of the air and of every beast of the field, but for Adam there was not found a help. Right? So, what's Adam's responsibility now? To teach the woman that he wants to groom for to be a mother to his children how to help him so that they can do what? Help the family. So if she don't know how to do nothing, she's not a help. She's just a body that's just laying there looking good, smelling good. She don't know how to do nothing. She's just pretty. She just she's as the kids say, she's just a valley girl, an airhead. She don't know how to do nothing. She look good. She's dime piece. That's it. Dime piece. Right? More like a quarter. I digress. All right. So now, Moses said what? He said, verse 22 again, the rib which Yah had taken from man made he a woman and brought her to the man. And Adam said, this now is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called what? Woman, because she was taken out of man. Right now, to get the overstanding, the word woman means Isha Nashim in the Hebrew, right? Which means he had a language of respect towards the woman, right? He didn't call her my piece. He didn't call her my bee. And incidentally, some of you sisters love it when a man call you I'm a bad bee. That's your problem. But somebody else call you that, I'm not gonna be too many of your bees. But he didn't call her none of that. He called her my Isha Nashim, my wife, my woman, right? Now, in English, the word woman doesn't have the same weight that Isha Nashim does, because anybody can say, oh, that's my woman, that's my woman. Woman means she's someone that I embrace as my counterpart, as my helper to be with me in every area that I need her help in, because she is now the counterpart to me. She is now what? She is my assistant, if you will. All right. So he named a woman because she was taken from man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Now, here's the kicker. We don't do this now. We lost sight of that. Because if the father's absent, the father can't bring a wife to his son because he's nowhere in sight. So what does the son have to do now? He need to go find him a wife. because daddy's not in place. And we say, brother, it does say in the Bible, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. So I mean, I got to seek out a wife. That's what it has become, because the fathers were absent that was supposed to be responsible to say, this is the kind of woman you need, brother. I'm going to bring her right to you. In fact, I'm going to talk to her family. I'm going to get the word from the father and mother that she's legit. She's been trained. She's been taught, kind of like coming to America, right? I was taught how to cook and how to love you and how all of that, right? See, we frown on that. But she was taught how to be all of that, so that everything that he and her both obtain together can be of value to both of them, right? All right. So now he says, verse 24, therefore shall a man leave his father. So the proper protocol is, this is what I tell people now, we don't want to do this now. This will help save a lot of people from trouble. We're going to do to the five levels of compatibility. But let me say this. If you don't want to bring the person you're interested in around your father and mother, you don't need to be with them. Because the father and mother can save you trouble. That person comes around that father and mother, they sit at the table. If that father's in tune with y'all and the mother's in tune with y'all, they can tell you after 5 or 10 minutes if that person is good for you or not. Yeah, but he look good. He's handsome, got muscles, tall like I like him. No, he built like a stallion. Oh, you like in love with the external. We're going to cover that in a minute, right? Father and mother ain't looking at all of that. That's cute, right? We looking at the quality. We are applying the litmus test to that man or woman that you brought in the house to see if she is just another pretty face, or is she prepared to be a wife and a mother? Is she looking for a sugar daddy? Is she looking for the father that she never had in you? Looking for somebody that can work and give her all the money and she can be a gold digger? Or is she looking to be a help and to help to establish the family that you are trying to form, right? These are important questions that if your father is absent, he's not teaching you that. If you're not in the book, you're not going to learn it. So where do you get it from? You turn on TV and you see Hollywood, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, or the Basketball Wives, or the ex-Basketball Wives, or whatever show, right? All these reality shows showing you the wrong way to pick a mate. Got everything done, hair done, nails done, everything did, right? Inside, there's a big hole, right? There's a void in you because why? The 5 levels of compatibility was not met in your childhood days. So you come in a relationship with baggage. And then you got a big old list. I was watching this video clip and the girl said, write down everything you want in a man. She wrote down, I want him tall, dark, and handsome. I want him to have a 6-figure income. She was going all through the list. When she met the guy was like, she was none of what she wanted. She wasn't compatible with none of what she wanted. And sometimes we have unrealistic expectations in a spouse. That causes problem. We're going to deal with that. I'm actually covering the lesson and covering the points without giving you the points, the names of the points. But let's get back. So, all right. So now it says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So what did the Most High do? He brought the woman as an example, as what we should do, to his son, Adam, and he let Adam get to know her and groom her, right? And then it says, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. They hadn't consummated yet, right? He's looking at her, kind of like Coming to America. I like that. Good. Okay. All right. She looks all right. Where is she at in the head mentally? She mentally straight? Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Now, so if we go to chapter 3, let's do this real quick. And let's see. I want to get to the part where he says, be fruitful and multiply. Hold on a second. Be fruitful and multiply. Okay, it's chapter 1. I missed it. Okay. So go back to chapter 1, right? All right, chapter 1. It says in verse 28. It says, let's go to verse 26. Yah said, let us make man in our image. Now, listen. We're not saying that chapter 1 happened before chapter 2, but this is basically showing you the summary, if you will, okay? Yah said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, right? Over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. See that? So, as part of being a man, or as a head of the house, you have to understand or know that you were created in his image to do what? Not to be dominated by things, but to dominate things, right? So if you are addicted to drugs, the drug is dominating you, right? You're out of operation of your call to be dominant over the thing, not to have the thing dominate you. You're supposed to till the ground, not be controlled by the ground substance, and you can't function without taking that hit. You're not dominating. All right. Now, to have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Yah created man in his own image. In the image of Yah created he him, male and female. Created he them. I'm not going to go off to the semantics of male and female. Yah made him in his image. We're not going to deal with that, all right? Although there is a crazy doctrine out there that the Holy Spirit is a woman. Let me skip back to focus where we at. Okay, now, Yah blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that move upon the earth, right? So it says he blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Now, most people think when you read that, it's just talking about having children. No. Being fruitful and multiplying, it includes having children, but it also means everything that you do in life should be about bearing fruit, right? And multiplying the fruit that you bear. That's why the Most High, when he gave man the food, he said the seed that is in it. So when you get seedless grapes, seedless oranges, seedless apples, whatever, they're not made after the image of Yah. Why? Because he's teaching us that we are supposed to do what? Reproduce after its kind. right? Be fruitful and multiply. That's the reason why nothing that has nothing to do with being homophobic. It has everything. This is what I can't understand about corporate America. You're based on production. You go to work, 40 hours plus, whatever, you on salary. At the end of the calendar year, what do they do to you? They bring you into the office for what? A review. What do they review? To see how productive or unproductive you were. Right? This is corporate America. They're hypocrites. So if during the interview, the review, they determine that you was not productive, they do corrective actions. And if the corrective actions fail, what do they do then? Give you the pink slip. Why? Because you're not productive for our corporation. You're not a good fit, is what they say. Now, having that same understanding, the Most High is about production. Right? Just like the Messiah cursed the fig tree because it didn't produce figs. So a man that is married to another man cannot be productive. Okay? A woman married to a woman, and I know you say, oh, brother, I think I was born a woman, but I'm a man, but I think I need to go back to being a woman, right? What does your internal organs say? Can you produce a seed or an egg? Your organs determines who you are. Right? Your internal organs, let me be clear. Not your external, but be PG. If you are a hermaphrodite, because some may say scientifically some people are born that way. But if you have a hormone imbalance where you are more feminine than masculine, or more masculine than feminine, but your internal organs produces that which the male is to produce, or it produces that which the female is supposed to produce, then you are what your inside says. Your reproductive system tells you who you are. So if you cannot produce, a seed cannot produce with another seed. It needs ground, right? Same with the female. An egg cannot produce with another egg. That's why the scientists have to use what they call the in vitro fertilization process. Just so you can have, because maybe there might be something internally that's not functioning properly, right? Now, I'm not a doctor, so I didn't mean to go off into that, but I just want to make a point. So the man was taught to be, and the woman was taught to be fruitful, right? And to multiply, to be productive. So if that which you do is not productive, then it is what? Is waste. Right? It's good for nothing. All right? Now, let me go to my 5 points, and I'll share one or two. I didn't share so many scriptures already, but the first point I want to make is, and which is the most I covers, it is, which I cover, which is the primary focus. If we get the first one right, we're on our way to success, but we got to get all 5 of them right? So the first one is, are you spiritually in tune with the Creator, and the person that you are pursuing, or the relationship that you are pursuing to establish, are they spiritually compatible with your spirituality? If they're not, they don't believe that there's a higher power, you do. What does Shaul say? Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. This is what Shaul said. 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Right? We're going to tie that together with Deuteronomy 7. 2 Corinthians chapter 6. I got to break this one in. I don't use it that much. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and let's read verse 13. Start at 13. Now for recompense in the same I speak unto my children, be ye also enlarged. Right? Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Now, each one of those 5 levels of compatibility deals with unequally yoked. But this particular one here is talking about the first unequally yoked is spirituality. You believe in a higher power, they don't believe in a higher. I'm an atheist, right? You got a problem from the top of the door. Right? So spirituality should be the first litmus test. Do you believe in a higher power? Okay. That person might be involved in Islam or might be involved in Satanism or whatever. You don't know what they're involved in, but when you have that conversation about spirituality, you'll be able to know whether you're compatible with them or not. And sometimes they don't go to church because, this, that, and the other. Make any old kind of excuse for them. You have avoided and have ignored the first sign of the litmus test, the spiritual compatibility. He says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion have light with darkness? See that? He equates that with darkness. But you want to hook up with this person that has no Yah consciousness? He said, don't be unequally yoked together. Yeah, but he looks good. He's a good man. What's his spirituality? Where is he? Does he pray? Does he have a desire? Does she pray? Does she have a desire to seek Yah? Or are they just looking at you because you got a 24-36? Oh, I said it backwards. 36 Coca-Cola bottle shape. A wine glass shape, right? Did I say that right? Hourglass. I guess it depends on what kind of wine glass it is too. You got different shapes. So then you might have somebody. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna be nice. All right, let me get back. So he says, and what concord has the Messiah with Belial? Or what part have he that believe with an infidel? And what agreement have the temple of Yah with idols? For you are the temple of the living Yah, as Yah have said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their mighty one, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, 17 says, come out from among them and be ye separate, says Yah, and touch not the unclean thing, I will receive you. Right? So he calls that unbeliever unclean. But you say, oh, I should give him a chance. You fail the first litmus test. Spiritual compatibility. You're not compatible. On the same vein, where are you spiritually? Maybe it's because you're spiritually shallow. You don't have a commitment or relationship with your Heavenly Father. So maybe you'll let your guard down. Now you're both headed down the road to destruction because neither one of you have a spiritual compatibility with the Most High, which is the glue that keeps it together. You don't have a spiritual compatibility, neither does he. So you failed the first level, you're on your way to destruction, right? Now, let's tie that with Deuteronomy 7, right? Go to Deuteronomy 7, Devarim, chapter 7. All right? See if I can get it in real quick. All right, let's see. So just bear with me here a little bit. This is the introduction to this family series. We laying a foundation. We laying a heavy foundation, right? All right. Chapter 7, Deuteronomy 7, verse 1. This is the words of Yah. When Yah shall bring thee into the land where you go to possess it, and had cast out many nations before you, the Hittites, the Girgashites, Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when Yah shall deliver them before you, you shall smite them, not marry them. Watch this now. Shall utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. So you failed the first litmus test because you said, oh, well, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to give her a chance, right? You failed the first litmus test. Spirituality. You're not spiritually compatible. It doesn't stop there, but that should be the first primary thing that you look at. The level of spiritual before we can get to the next steps. Because I'm going to tell you why it's important. If that person doesn't have a connection with their higher power, it's going to be hard for them to have a connection with you. On a 100, as the kids say. I'll tell you what they want you to know, but they're not going to be 100 with you. At some point in time in the near future, you're going to see it. You might not see it right away. Give it some time. You will see that they're not 100 with you because they're not 100 with him. They're not 100 with him. It's going to be very hard for them to be 100 with you. So you got to be 100 with him so you can be able to see if that person's 100 or not. Oh, we not going to work because you're not 100 spiritually. So we already got us a problem right out the door. And we're not talking about whether the person's Baptist or Methodist or Pentecostal or Church of God in Christ or whatever, because those will cause issues too. But what I'm saying is that at least they have to have some level of spiritual commitment to the Most High. All right. Open to truth of Yah through his word. Right. The pastor said one thing, but let's go to the book. Yeah, it does say that in the book. How do you view that? Well, I know the pastor don't teach that, but I am reading it though. That lets you know that person says, I'm open to truth. We reading it. It must be right. Well, I wonder why the pastor don't teach that. That opens up another discussion, right? So you can see right there, you both on the same spiritual compatibility, right? You're both learning and growing, okay? You learning the truth about the word of the Most High. Now you starting to think for yourself and stop letting a person dictate or dominate to you what you're supposed to think, right? All right. Verse 3, Deuteronomy 7:3. Neither shall thou make marriages with them, right? Thy daughter thou shalt not give to his son. See, where did they get the pattern from? The Most High. Formed the woman, brought it to the man, right? But he's saying, don't make marriages with them. Don't give your daughter unto their son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto your son. So they reciprocate. We just talked about that, right? So you as a parent, if you're not involved in the decision making, and we say, well, I want them to have the right to be able to make the decision who they want to love. Like my dad used to say, don't you fool yourself. Right? You're supposed to train that child when they become an adult. If you instill in them the practices, that man will remain faithful and committed and will do that which he's supposed to do, and vice versa, the woman. All right. So he says, thou shalt not, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter you shall not give to his son, nor his daughter you shall give to thy son. For they will turn away your son from following me. Other words, they'll be entrapped into occultism, right? Did I say that right? My mission not here to help me out to make sure I'm saying it right, but prayerfully I said that right. Occultism, okay? They will turn your heart away from following me, verse 4, and that they may serve other deities who will. So then will the anger of Yah be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. See that? So the Most High is telling the mother and the father, you should be involved in who your son or daughter is interested in seeing or dating. It's good practice. Back in the day, they don't do it now. If you want to go to the prom, they had to come to your house, come in the house and meet your father and mother before your father and mother let you go out to the prom with them. They don't do that no more. And because we don't do that, what happens on prom night? Y'all know what happens. If it don't happen on prom night, it happens shortly thereafter. He liked what he saw. She liked what she saw. They liked what they both saw and felt. Next thing you know, Mom, I got something to tell you. And you're like, what? Remember the female I went to prom with? Which con? Yeah. What about her? She pregnant. Pregnant? As the old folk, you say, when did they court? Oh, we thought it was a one-shot deal. You went to the prom. We didn't know y'all was sneaking out, seeing each other on the side. Right? Well, because remember, I wanted to bring them in the house. I want them to meet you. But you said it's all right. Go ahead and do your prom. Go get your limo. Your limo's waiting for you, right? You didn't take the initiative to get involved in that child's life. You let that child make a decision for themselves. And they made the wrong decision. And 9 months later, you're a grandparent. Right? Verse 5, Deuteronomy 7:5. But thus shalt you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. Now, he tells them why. He's not prejudiced now. You know, so like the Most High is he's what's the words they use now? Homophobic, and he's xenophobic and xenophobic, and he's got a bunch of phobias. He gonna explain to you why he told you not to do what he did. Here is verse 6. For thou art a set apart people unto Yah. Yah have chosen you to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Listen, here it is, verse 7. 7:7. Deuteronomy 7:7. And Yah said, did not set his face, his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any other people, for you were the fewest of the people. But because Yah loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your fathers. Oh my. Have Yah brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondage from the hand of the Pharaoh of Egypt. So this is the reason why the Most High said, don't marry pagans or a person who is not spiritually connected with you through according to the commandments of Yah, right? He says, now therefore, verse 9, that Yah, know therefore that Yah, he is El Shaddai. He is El Shaddai, the faithful El Shaddai, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them. He keeps covenant. You got to get this part right here. He keeps covenant with them that love him, right? And keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. So the same person in the Old Testament that says he shows mercy, oh my, he's faithful, and unto those who keep the covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments. But you was taught you don't have to keep the commandments. So you don't keep the Most High's commandments, and you're not intricately involved with your children to teach them the commandments, to meditate upon the commandments so that they can have a better life, to be a people above and not. Hold on a second. It's time to need my ish out here to get that water. But the Most High, let me go back. I lost my thought. He says, Yah, therefore, Yah, the El Shaddai, is faithful, which keep covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to the 1,000 generations. So he is merciful to those that obey, not to those that disobey. That's why I made a comment earlier about prophets prophesying, blessings coming, blessings coming, blessings coming. But what does the scripture say? If you be willing and obedient, thou shalt eat the good of the land. But that's the kicker. The other side of that, when you see that but there, somebody's getting kicked. You know what I mean, right? Somebody getting the tail kicked. But if you rebel, right? That what? You shall be devoured by the sword. Blessings for obedience, not for disobedience. You was taught, I don't have to obey them laws, they cruel. Most High said, you obey my laws and live, right? That's in Deuteronomy chapter 30, right? Let me get back. Verse 10 says, and repayeth them, and he repayeth them. It's kind of like Exodus chapter 20, right? Visiting the iniquities of the fathers and the children of them that hate me. Right? He says, he repaid them that hate him to their face. To destroy them, he will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. So we got third and fourth generations drug addictions, drug addicts, alcoholics, non-functional kind anyway. Some of us are functional alcoholics. That's another lesson. But the third and fourth generation, right, of them that hate me, he's saying here, he's not going to be slack to them that hate him. Who are the haters? Those that break his commandments. So when you teach your children that it's okay if they don't go to church, if they don't have any spirituality, you know, if they got a good mind, a good education, they're smart, intelligent, whatever the case might be, they got good financial principles, that's part of the 5 points. But that's not the sole totality, and that's not the primary of it. It's a part of it. It should be included in the equation, but it's not the totality of it, right? So, because of that, he says that he will repay them that hate him to their face. So, when you say you don't have to obey the commandments, number one, you're not spiritually connected to your head, and so you're not teaching your children to be spiritually connected, and now you're leading them down the path of destruction because you're out of order. What Shaul said, follow me as I follow the Messiah. I will have you know that the head of the Messiah is Yah El Shaddai, and the head of the wife is the husband, and the head of the children is the husband and wife. I kind of paraphrase that last part, but you get it. When you said, children, obey your parents, for it is a commandment of promise that your days may be long, right? So you make decisions, your days being long are being full of production, are being full of reproducing a righteous, a complete, whole, sound life on the physical planet that you live in, free from the stress and serving other deities because you're in debt. That's a part in Proverbs that says what? We'll cover that maybe in another lesson. He said to train up the child in the way that they should go, and when they go old, they will not depart from it, right? So we train the child what? The next verse he says, the borrower is a servant to the lender. But guess what? The American dream tells you, oh, graduate from college, or graduate from high school rather, get you a student loan, go to the best, get the best education your money can buy you. Now be in debt for 30 years paying that loan off. Then once you get out of college, get you a big house, your dream house, get you your dream car, and you're in total debt. And now you're working like a Hebrew slave to pay the debt because you got so much debt. So therefore you say, I owe, so off to work I go. It's not funny, it's sad. So we didn't apply the principle in Proverbs that says train up the child the way that they should go. It didn't just say take him to church. We grew up thinking that, oh, you would think it says that the way people quote it. See, you raise the child up in church, when they get older, they'll return to the church. That is not what Proverbs is saying. And if I had the time, I'd go and I'd read and break it down. But you do your homework. Proverbs says, I'll give you the verse so you can find out where it is. Train up a child the way he should go. That's 22:6. All right. Proverbs 22:6. So the training up the child, the next verse after verse 6 says, the borrower is a servant to the lender. The Messiah picked it up and said, you cannot serve the Almighty Yahweh and Mammon. He says, whoever you yield your members to obey, you are serving. So you got a job, you making six figures, you can't tell the boss, I'm not gonna work today. Because you got a $5,000 or $6,000 a month mortgage, you can't tell that boss, I'm not gonna work today. He's like, who do you think you are? You work for me. It's not the other way around, right? So when you understand that principle, right, you can train, you can teach your child the principle. Oh, we're talking about principles now. I'm kind of covering to some of the other areas that I haven't got yet. But he said that we teach our children to be materialistic. If it's not Gucci, if it's not Louis Vuitton, we all favor designer, people look at you like, right? And you feel special because you spent money in somebody else's empire. So you're a servant to them. You made them look good, made them rich because you bought that which you thought would make you look good. Oh, so you are a servant to the lender, just like he said in Exodus 20. All right. So he says that he will repay those back to Deuteronomy 7:10. He will repay them that hate him to his face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments, which I command thee this day to do them. 12. This is the part people don't get. There's no sense in you prophesying. That's why Trump didn't get reelected. There's no rewards for disobedience. You can't just harp on your two big sins and you violating the laws and statutes and commandments of the Most High in totality. Right? And then you're going to worship the man. But I digress. Verse 12, Deuteronomy 7:12. Wherefore, it shall come to pass, if you hearken to these judgments and keep them and do them, that Yah, the El Shaddai, shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he hath swore unto your fathers. See, they don't want you to know that. So we have a problem in our families because we're not teaching the family the first principles of the oracles of Yah, which is what? Obeying him. That's the oracle. But you ain't got it right because that's the first oracles is teaching that we are to obey him. What he said, every word that proceeded out of his mouth as it is written, right? We follow those because why? That's the first principle of what? Compatibility of relationship is to be obedient. I guarantee you, if you go to get married and they come down to the point where you're supposed to confess your loyalty to the person you're supposed to marry, you say, well, I don't know if I can honor all of that because, I'm human. I guarantee you that bride will leave you sitting at that altar standing. She might knock you out. Oh man. But yet we don't believe in covenant. All right. So he says, verse 13, he will love thee. He will love you. Why? Because you're keeping what? Verse 12, because you're keeping the covenant and mercy, which he swore unto your fathers. And because you keep the covenant, he said he will love you and bless you and multiply you. He will also bless the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your land, the corn and the wine. You can drink wine too, right? The wine and oil and increase of your kind, of flocks, of sheep in the land where he swore unto your fathers to give it to you. You shall be blessed above all people, right? There shall not be a male or female barren among you or among your cattle. See that? So when you keep the covenant, so maybe somebody's deficient in producing a child because of the third or fourth generational sin that hit one of the seed. I bear witness. All right. It can be reversed though. It was reversed in many cases where people was barren in the biblical days, and they prayed and sought the Most High, and he opened up the womb. Okay? Now, verse 14, thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be a male, female barren among you or among your cattle. And Yah will take away from thee all sickness, right? So, because we're breaking the number one litmus test by not being obedient, spiritually compatible, sickness has hit. High blood pressure, heart attacks, hypertension, heart disease, sugar diabetes, liver disease, kidney disease, cancer. All those things are part of the third to the fourth generation of somebody who refused to keep the covenant. It takes 3 to 4 generations to purge that bloodline. So if you have one generation that obeys Yah, and the next one obeys Yah, and the next one obeys Yah, but then that fourth one comes around and says, I'm not going to do that. We don't need to do that. Now the cycle starts all over again. So whatever his child or her child does it could be impacted by the father to the grandkids, to the great-grands, or the great-great-grands, right? Why? Because he said you broke the covenant, and now because it's a family thing, and you broke the family covenant, so somewhere in that DNA, the judgment of the sin, which is the disobedience of the covenant, is going to hit somewhere and it's going to surface. And if it's not dealt with, it might become hereditary and repetitive. That explains why you may be absent of eating toxic foods, but every now and again, I've been clean for 30 years. I haven't put a piece of, well, maybe not quite 30, but about 20 years. I haven't had a scavenger or a piece of pork, right? But every now and again, I feel my heart flutter. I'm like, well, I don't eat that stuff. How is my heart doing a dance, right? It's in the DNA to the third and fourth generation, right? All right. Now, let me get back so I can close out. Verse 15 again, Yah will take away from thee all sickness and will put none of these evil diseases of Mizraim, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. See, you want to get those that judge you? You want to get the wicked? You be obedient and let the chips fall where they may. Verse 16, thou shalt consume all the people which Yah, the El Shaddai, shall deliver thee. Thine eyes shall have no pity upon them, neither shalt thou serve their deity, for what will be a snare unto you. That will be a snare unto you. If you shall say in your heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispose them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember that Yah, the Almighty, did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt. Right? Okay. I'm not going to read the rest of that, but you get the gist of what the Most High is saying. So the second level, and I'm going to kind of run through these. I'm not going to go because I'll break each one down each week. But I want to deal with the first. So we got 5 levels. So the second is on my list is, now these are in order of importance for the most part. Okay. The number one litmus test is, we just covered, we spent a whole lesson on that, is the spiritual compatibility. If that person has no relationship, I'm not talking about religion, No relationship with the Most High, and you don't have a relationship. You already on. You need to get it first. The first thing I would do if you dating, I'd get on my knees and seek the Most High and tell him, get me spiritually right. Then I can remove the beam out my eye and see whether or not that brother or sister is spiritually compatible with me, right? Then after I'm on point with that, the second level compatibility, remember I said there's 5 of them now. This is the most I gave it to me about maybe 7 years ago. And it's going to be in one of my books. It might be a book dedicated to it. But the second level of compatibility is sociality or socially. Let's just say it like that. Are you socially compatible? Right? If you got to pry a person to have a conversation with you, then you got a social compatibility, incompatibility. A person that won't talk, you don't know what they're capable of. They could be crazy for all we know. Right? Or they're not a good communicator. You don't have to be a good communicator to talk. Somebody asks you a question, you give an answer. Do you believe in the higher power? Why you ask me that? You failed the litmus test. Right? Because that person has a social deficiency. Right? Next point, walk right through them and then we're going to shut down. If a person is not spiritually compatible, then you can rest assured the second one is going to not be too far, which is they're going to be a person that's not a talker, not sociable, right? A communicator, right? Then the third one on my list is emotional. I kind of chuckled a little bit, but if a person is emotionally unstable, right? Emotional instability and social instability go back to spirituality. If there's no proper relationship with the higher power, that person can and will be emotionally unstable. Meaning that they might get angry with you because you asked them whether they believed in the Most High. Or they could have a temper tantrum problem, right? They can hide it for so long, but after a while, it will come out. So that's the third litmus test. Are they emotionally, and we'll cover each one. We're going to take our time and do this series. Are they emotionally stable, right? In other words, do they look like they crazy? When you ask a question and then they just start dancing around, their thoughts is going every which way but where it's supposed to be. You ask them a simple question, they start dancing, skipping, and hopping, jumping around, spitting and kicking and swinging. That's a sign of emotional deficiency. That emotional deficiency could possibly come from the lack of them having a proper relationship, in most cases with the father. In some cases with the mother. They may have had a social deficiency where they couldn't talk to their mother or father. Maybe somebody molested them, right? Maybe somebody violated them, right? Maybe could have been the mother or father could have did something foul, which would have caused them to not be able to express it and would gave them a social deficiency. And that social deficiency ultimately would lead to an emotional deficiency. So now you wonder, why is this person so emotional? Why is this person, when they see a person, you get upset, you get steaming hot when they walk in your presence. I can't stand her. That's an emotional deficiency. Right? The fourth one is physical. These are the ones that most people gravitate to first, because it's the first thing you see. And I mentioned that in the lesson. He looked good. He's tall, dark, and handsome, got muscles, got good hair, right? Pretty white, pearly white teeth, whatnot. Got a cute dimple when he smiles, you know. Maybe he has gap teeth. He got pretty gap teeth, right? Or, you got a nice beard or whatever, or shiny, clean cut bald head, you know. He walk like a stud. He's strolling. Oh, he's so fine. Girl, he fine. Look at that. Oh my goodness, he fine, girl. Oh, he fine, girl. Oh, if I could just talk to him for 5 minutes, girl. You failed the litmus test. Because why? You don't know what his spirituality is. You don't know what his sociality is. You don't know what his emotional state of being is, right? But you look at his physical attributes and say, oh man, you got a rock, girl. Girl. Y'all know how y'all do. Girl. Or how about the guys? Guys see a girl and be like, D. I would just say it like that. Y'all know what y'all say. Gee, D. Oh man. Hey, let me holler at you right quick. Yo. Let me holler at you right quick. Whew, girl, what's your Instagram account? Huh? Girl, you should be a model looking good like that. Oh man, bam. She got that PTT. The guy in the video, he said PTTO. She got that PTTO. Oh man, boy. I took my look at her, boy, my blood pressure went up. Oh my goodness. Woo! Right? You caught up with the physical. But you have I'm telling you, I'm more testifying where I've been. I know. Woo-wee. That physical thing get you caught up. You look and you say, oh man, yeah, man, look at that body, brother. Woo. I was growing up, we used to say, that girl got arthritis. That's a family expression. She got arthritis. Right? So that's the fourth one, physically. Right? So generally in relationships, as we come to a close, we got one more point and we'll close it out. Generally, most people fall hook, line, and sinker for the physical attribute first. So you might be in school when this happens, high school, it could be in middle school or junior high, whatever you call it. You see him or her. They got this straight, pretty hair. The mama dressed them well, smelling good, whatever. Pretty white teeth. You're like, She wears some jeans or whatnot. You're like, I like how she wear them jeans. Yeah. Or he might be an athlete, on the wrestling team or football team or something. He got some rocks on him. You're like, yeah. And that's when it usually happens. So most of the time when it comes to failed relationships, all of the litmus test points are not because nobody really knows about the litmus test. All they know is what they physically see, right? So generally speaking, men are moved by what they see, women are moved by what they feel, right? So if a guy want to win a woman's heart, he just tell her, girl, you're the finest thing I lay my eyes on since sliced bread. You think so? Girl, I would love you forever. Girl, I would throw it all in for you, honey. I ain't never seen a woman as fine as you. Girl, can I take you out? And that's how I start. So most of us grew through that. So the first time you hook up with somebody, generally, it's going to be that person that you feel good about, because with that physical comes a feeling. I feel good about her. I can't think I can't go to sleep. All I could do is think about what do you love about her? Oh man, I just feel so good when I'm around her. Physical, right? And then if you go there, oh man, then you get a soul tie. Now you got a stronghold. Not only are you physically attracted, physical with the eyes, but you're physically connected to, because you became one with that person. I say it like that PG version, right? So you become one with that person. Now you become inseparable, because why? Now that person now has become connected to you. And when they're not with you, you feel them, because there is a spiritual union that took place when you two came together and became one flesh. We'll cover that in a future lesson, right? We kind of talked about a little bit of that in 2 Corinthians, all right? The second and last one, which usually between the two, the physical and the financial, generally, they can fluctuate between which one most people pick first. But usually, after the physical fails in the first relationship, the woman specifically is now looking for a man who financially can afford her, because she's been hurt. So her heart is hurt. So now I'm looking for a man that's going to patch up my hurt by whining and dining me and give me and taking me to enjoy the finer things in life. Right? So generally speaking, usually if the physical and the financial fail, that's when that person usually open up to something else, when those two fail. If they don't go back to spirituality and follow the flow, social and emotional. But spirituality, if they don't go back to spirituality, they regress or they depart from spirituality, and they open themselves up to what? Same-sex relationships. They become atheist, agnostic, bitter, isolating. They isolate themselves from people because they don't want to be around people, because I can't trust nobody. You've been hurt, right? So when you follow those last two, financially and physical, those are the ones you're headed for destruction. If you go into any relationship with those two as your top priorities, you guarantee to have issues in your relationship that could eventually lead to things like infidelity. I've been through physical, where you get physical in a relationship and you've never been a woman beater, but because there's lack in when those other parts fail, now you look at that person for, what did I get involved with this person for? And it becomes detrimental to you, right? So I'm speaking on it from experience. These are things that I've been through in relationships, and I can relate to, and the Most High has healed me from it. And I prayed about it for a while, and I said, Father, I want to be able to share and help from my experiences, because a lot of us never get delivered from people that hurt us. Many of us go to the grave with that person who hurt us in our heart, unwhole, broken, destroyed, angry, frustrated, right? And then to the point where all of that hurt makes you become vocal about that person. That deadbeat, no good, so-and-so. You have nothing good to say. And just say, if you had children by him, oh my goodness, now you become, if you're not conscious, you start making him look bad in front of the children that he's supposed to be responsible for. And when that happens, he thinks from a male's perspective, we'll cover some things in the future. When my issues here, she'll be able to open some things up that I can't hit. I only can talk to you from my experience from the male angle. But there's a word I mentioned earlier, the R word, respect. Even if you disagree with that person and maybe your relationship doesn't work, it was infidelity or something that caused you to become bitter or angry towards that person, a sign that you have grown and that you're over, if you can respect that person right? Even though they wronged you, they may come by to visit the children, and they, you tell them, you know what? That's your son, that's your daughter. There they are right there. They coming with another agenda. They coming to see you. But you letting them know, I'm over you, honey. But those your children, you go see them. No, we not playing it here, honey. You know how y'all talk. We not playing that, honey. I'm over you, honey. Right? I'm gonna say how over I am, how much I'm over you, right? I made a plate. You can have a plate. Go ahead, get something to eat. Right? Or can I spend the night? No, go home. This ain't your house. Bye. Yeah, you know how y'all say, bye, boy. No, stop calling the man a boy. That's disrespectful. Bye, boy. That's disrespectful. I know it sounds cute and it's a cliche, but that's disrespectful. He might be acting like a boy. It might be true. It might be all true, right? Don't ever stoop to a low level around your children to where your children look at you and view you as disrespecting their father. Even if he's a crackhead. Teach your children to respect their father, love them, and pray them through. Teach the children how to pray for their father. Dad's not doing well. Let's just get down. Let's pray for him. You'd be surprised how far it'll go, right? Generally, it's more so with women and the baby daddies than it is the other way around. There are cases where the children is raised by the father and the mother is a deadbeat mother. Not as popular, but it happens. But even if that's the case, never degrade your children, their parents, in the eyes of their children. Keep and show respect, right? And pray for the best of them, right? And we'll cover some other stuff, but let's just recap and we're going to shut it down. All right. So recapping, the 5 levels of compatibility for every relation starts with what I call the litmus test. Spiritually, look at the person's spirituality first before you look. I know you go out in the street and you see a person. Oh my goodness, look at her. Look at him. Woo, man. Hey, yo, are you single? But once you get over the initial shock, brothers and sisters, of that physical attraction, go back to base 1 to see where they are. With the spirituality test and the sociality test, that can eliminate a lot of things. Like, for example, spiritually, are you compatible? Are you, do you respect the Most High, etc.? Do we have same spiritual views? Number 2, socially, right? Socially, how do you feel about life? Do you pay your bills? Do you live with your parents? Does your mom live with you? Are you a mama's boy? Whatever mama says is right. Nothing nobody can say is right. If mama don't say it, that's not to say that you shouldn't respect your mother. But what I'm saying is that if that son, that man wants to talk to you, first off, do you have children? If you live with your mother and you have children, I already got a question already, right? About you socially and emotionally and financially, because if you have children and you live with your mother as a man, right? I'm gonna have some concerns with what are you bringing to the table to me as a woman. This is how women should think. Don't get caught up in the look. Get over the initial shock. You might meet somebody at a football game. You might meet somebody at a basketball game or at a baseball game or at a sporting events or at church or at the mall, or you might meet them at the barber shop, at the beautician shop. You might meet them in the street going to this local store, right? You might meet them somewhere in the public. And the first thing you're going to be hit with is what you see. All right. That's the icebreaker. But once you sit down with that person, all right, let's talk. Well, I'm not big on talking. So I'm a good listener, though. That's an indication of a social deficiency when a person says, I'm not a good talker, but I'm a good listener. That's an indication of a person with the social deficiency. And they hide it under the fact that, oh, I'm a good listener. We don't know what you got plotting and hidden if you're not talking. I don't know you from the next person. But you saying you a good listener means nothing to me, because we come together as a family. We need to make decisions. Another thing you want to deal with is, what kind of relationship do you have with your father? If you live with your mother, do you talk to your father? Do y'all bond? Do you hate him? Is he missing? Is he deceased? If he is deceased, what kind of relationship did y'all have before he passed? How about your brothers and sisters? How do you get along with your brothers and sisters, right? All those are tests. Those are tests that you put, what I call a litmus test, that goes along with the 5 primary functional things. But then you're dealing with each one. You're going to deal with each one, and you're going to put it on the magnifying not magnifying is what I want to say. I want to say examining table. You want to ask the right questions. I mean, the person can look and sell you anything because they look good. Where you work, where you live, right? How do you eat, right? Do you have good credit? What's your views about credit? What's your views about debt, right? Are you a gold digger, right? Because you can save yourself a whole lot of trouble by just sitting down and talking. And that's the primary indicator. If you sit down at a table with a person and they can't talk, I guarantee you might as well get up and walk from the table. Because if they can't talk, anybody can say, you know what, I'm a little nervous. It's my first time meeting you. I'm going to talk to the person, but man, I'm nervous because I don't want to say the wrong thing. We all do that. But if that person don't want to talk and all they want to do, they first meet you, they want to start hugging and kissing on you, they don't want to talk, walk away from the table. Leave them. Tell them, nice meeting you. Because that person has a social deficiency. And they could be a stalker. They could be a jealous person. They could be a person who's a compulsive liar. They could have women all over the place and trapping you because they're hiding under the deception that I'm not a good talker. Right? So I've gone beyond my time. Prayerfully, you all got something out of this opener. So remember the first 5. Remember spirituality, right? That's your first one you want to look at. Socially, between the two, spiritually, socially, right? Those should be the 2 conversations, spiritually, socially. And generally, when you're having conversation with them and you're talking about spiritual things and you socially, you can see where the person is emotionally, initially. You talk about a certain subject and they just start going off. That person is not whole from whatever that was that they talked about. They're not whole. Give that person time to get whole before you get involved, before you get emotionally involved and physically connected to that person, because otherwise you're signing your death sentence, right? I've been through it, made wrong mistakes. And also for you, especially if you're single and you're interested in somebody, talk to somebody about the person. Somebody that's whole. Don't talk to somebody that They're your peer and they got game or whatever. Talk to somebody older and say, I met this person. We went out on a date. And this is what I think or I feel. I want to know what your thoughts is of, they might say, I would like to meet him. Right? Trust somebody that is going to tell you the truth. It's not going to be telling you, girl, if you like me, go for it. No, trust somebody that's been through something, that's willing to be honest and upfront, and they'll give you a visual, say, here's what I see. I could be wrong, but this is what I perceive. You might not want to get involved with that person. And they look real good. I think you just like him. You want him. I got a husband. It might say, or it might be, if it's a woman, I got a wife. I don't want her, but I'm telling you what I see. That might not be good for you. All right? And you'd be surprised. I think a lot of times too, and I'm going to close out. A lot of times too, we say, I'm grown. Nobody can tell me what to do. I got my own house. It's not even so much about you being grown. It's just that people that have experience, that's been through things and see you about to go through it, they trying to help you not to go and waste 10, 15, 20 years of your life on a bad deal, on a bad choice. Make the right choice. Just because that person looks good to you and you think that, they're a good fit for you. Take your time, get to know the person. Apply the 5 compatibility, levels of compatibility. And see where you fit. If all that really is pulling you to that relationship with that person is how good they look, or how good they make you feel, or what kind of car they drive, those are not good indicators. It says there's something missing in you when you need that to make you feel comfortable over the other components of that person that makes that person who they are. If they have a social deficiency, they could have an anger problem. It could be violent. It could be a woman beater, for all you know. Right? So with that said, brothers and sisters, prayerfully, I don't know who's listening, if I'm still on live or not, but because I know I'm having some issues. Let's see. Is anybody out there? I got some scripture references here. Well, first, let me just say my shalom's here. Shalom, let me go back. So, shalom, I quote Lynn, and to Adrian, and to, let's see, Keys to Prosper, to Biterson, Shabbat Shalom. Somebody, who is this? Mattias Almeida de Arroyo. It is worth dating someone who needs their mom permission to go out. She's 23. Her mom is controlling. Should I run? That's a good question. Wait a minute. Are you still there listening? Is it worth dating someone who needs their mom's permission to go out? Well, she's 23. Her mom is controlling. Okay. That's kind of a hard question to answer because I don't know how good of a judge of a character you are. When you meet the mother, it could be she definitely could have had many of those deficiencies in her life. And so that is who she has become. She's controlling because of, for some reason, maybe she was abandoned and because she was abandoned, she felt the need to be controlling everything that's in her life. Okay. So what I would do is, I don't want to badmouth a person because she's a single mom. We don't know her story. So, But at the same time, I would respect a mother that wants to meet you, but maybe you can run the litmus test on the mom. Just kind of talk to the mom and find out where she is in her experience in life. And generally, the children don't fall too far. As the saying goes, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So if the mother failed the litmus test, then the daughter is going to be not too far from that. She's a picture of the mother, unless she's been made whole. She's dealt with her issues and she's learned something that she can apply in her present life, right? So that's my take on that there. All right. Okay. Exodus 12:49. One law shall be for him. That's right. Exactly. Thank you for posting that, Adrian. GMO, no seed. That's right. More being caught than taught in the home. Okay. I try to remember back what that comment was in reference to. Being caught than taught in the home. Genesis 28:14. Was that one of the verses that I quoted? Genesis 28:14. Let's see. Let's pull it up. Genesis 28:14. Okay, no, I got the wrong. I said it's 28. I put 14. Genesis 28:14. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, and in thee and in thy seed shall. Right, that's right, exactly. So that's kind of like a reduplication of what he said in Genesis 12. All right, so let's see. Toda Rabbah, Frank, for the good word. Hallelujah. Moray Josiah is in Chicago. Bless Shabbat. How's everything? Are you live? You are live there. Okay? Let's see. Yalita Moore. Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Yalita. Long time no see. And then we got a coat. Sandra. Hallelujah. Moray Josiah's in Chicago. I don't know if he caught up with you guys. He not up this down. How you say it? Chicago is south of Wisconsin, so he's down the road. Okay. Facts. Hallelujah. Okay, so with that said, anybody else have any questions? Yeah, he's in, matter of fact, look at his Facebook page. I'm not sure. I know he was on, let me see. I don't want to put his business out publicly like that, but go to his Facebook page. He has the actual address of where the class that they're at in Chicago is. So you might have time. It's 2:00 your time, so he might be shutting down by now. Though, reach out to him. Reach out to Tonda, yeah, because they're in Chicago. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Anything you want to cover? And there might be. The thing of it is that when it comes to deliverance, right? What passage comes to my mind? I think Shaul says something about the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through Yah to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing, right? I'm trying to remember that. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yah, and having a readiness, that's it, to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. So what is that saying? After you suffered a while, right, he will perfect you, establish, strengthen, and settle you, right? Should be, if you learned something from the lessons. I made some foolish decisions. And that's the thing that in relationships, a lot of times people don't graduate to a sound relationship. It's because they fail to acknowledge that they made some bad decisions. So in my healing process, I had to acknowledge that I, Kazak, Yaresh, Kabad, Ben Israel, Priest Kazak, Yah, Charles Cotton. I've been a lot of things. I have to acknowledge that I made some bad decisions. And I hurt some people along the way. Now, those people may never forgive you. They may remember you until you die. No matter how many times you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. It was a foolish decision. I was emotionally led to make that decision, right? Because a lot of decisions are emotional decisions. That's the thing. When you get to that emotional part, when a person is emotionally unstable, they make emotional decisions. For example, you're on a job, right? Boss make you mad. You storm to the office. I quit. You don't have no job lined up. You don't know how you're going to pay your next bill. But you got pissed off because something they did or something requirement, something they may have said that you didn't like. And so now you storm to the office and said, I quit. Right? So that emotional instability carries over in a business relationship, right? All decisions, whether it be in relationship with, or whether it be a working relationship or what have you, all decisions should be thought out thoroughly. You wake up in the morning, I don't feel like going to work. I'm going to call out. You keep doing that, you could be without a job. Right? You don't wake up in the morning. The decision should be, okay, I got all these bills to pay. I know I don't feel like going to work, but I got to go because I got to pay these bills. Right? That's making a sound decision, right? Now, if you don't like your job, then the thing that you need to do is plan your exit. Find out how you can recover, how you can replace your income with another job or another source of income, whether it be maybe you're going to start a business or whatever, right? Make that decision. Don't quit your job because I just don't like this job. I mean, I've been through that. I wanted to quit so many jobs that I was involved into because the money was good. So that's a mistake too. In social, in a work relationship, people take a job because it's good money. You don't like the work, but you like the pay. That's torture. You do the job because you like the pay, but you don't like the job. It's like a pastor in the church but don't like people. But because he get big tithes and offerings, he'll stay there and be a pastor, but he don't like people. So you should like the job you do. You should like the work you do if you're going to be true to yourself. If you're going to be most effective and productive, you should like what you do, right? So this lesson goes along with relationships as well as business decisions, right? I remember one thing I'm going to leave with this. I moved into an apartment one time when I was in Chicago because I felt the opposition to me living there. And I wanted to prove to them that I can live where I want to live. I'll tell you, make a long story short. I had ran a credit app over the phone for an apartment. I was living in Philly at the time. I was contemplating moving to Chicago. So I filled out a credit app on the internet rather. And I got approved for my apartment. My credit wasn't that good, but so long story short, head out to Chicago, got ready to move in, and they told me you can't move in unless you give us a $3,000 deposit. I'm like, what? We checked your credit. That's part of the litmus test. What kind of credit you got? You got good credit, bad credit? You got bad credit? Let's talk about it. Why's your credit bad? You know, oh, I don't want to talk about it. You failed another litmus test. You don't want to talk about it? You got a problem. You need to talk about why, because if you're interested in me, I need to know that you're not going to do it again. Right? Failed a litmus test, right? All right, so went to Chicago, got there, and the lady saw that I was a Hebrew. That's what she told me. I had to give a $3,000 deposit. I was like, what? Where am I going to get $3,000 from? So to prove a point, I managed to come up with the $3,000. I think it was about $3,500, something like that, to move in. And the whole time I was there, it was a battle. They didn't like me. They didn't want me there. They didn't want no black people in that apartment. But it was a bad decision. I moved in there. But at the end of it was the new management came there while I was there, and when I got ready to leave, and I got favor. So I guess it was good in one sense because they liked me, and they was trying to get me to stay. And I told them, I said, well, I'm ready to buy a house. I got to move out and get my house because I'm renting, and I'm not putting no money into my account. I'm putting money into y'all account. Sure, you're happy to get the money. You see that I paid my rent on time, right? You see I came with the $3,500 down payment, right? Which you got sitting on. Now you want me to stay? Give me my $3,500 back. So it all it comes down to decisions a lot of times. When you know something is not right and you do your litmus test, follow what you perceive. If you study something, you find out that this person doesn't have a good track record from what I can see. Okay. Does everybody deserve to have a second chance? Yeah, it's true. They do deserve. But look, if you interested in talking to me and I know you got a history of doing X, Y, Z, I'm going to watch you a whole lot longer before I confirm or agree that we are an item, as they say, right? So that's all I'm going to share, brothers and sisters. Preferably you got something out of my sharing. Please let your family, friends know we're going to talk about these camps in this family series, because a lot of these brothers in these camps, they don't know nothing about being a family. All you know about is having children, living off the woman, and because maybe she might have had a child or two, she felt obligated to accept what she can get. That's the worst time to make a decision to be involved in a relationship, because you feel like this is all you can get. So that's enough talk for now for Papa Kazak's Family Talk. So we'll be back, I believe. We're going to South, so I'm not too sure how the stream is going to be next week. I'll keep you updated. Those of you that want to continue to stay connected, because last week we had problems with, the week before, and last week we didn't stream live. I want to be able to reach out to you all, let you know. So if you want to be on our list, send me an email and give me your phone number. Most of you already have your numbers, but if you want to, when there's a problem, we're not going to be live, whatever, send me an email to Moreh Kabad, Moreh Kabad. And you can go, if you can't remember this, you can go to the channel and you can get the information there, and you can send us an email or what have you. But just send me an email or my phone number. I think my phone number is listed too, but I'll give it to you again, 443-480-3166. Once again, 443-480-3166. If you want to be in contact with me to know when we're going to be live, if there's an issue or something like that, just send me an email or call me or text me and say, let me know who it is, because I get texts from people that I'm like, who is that? So just don't text us, yeah, we thank you for the word, whatever. I'm like, well, who am I talking to, right? Say who it is, and I can save you on my phone. And then if something happens where we're not going to be live, you'll be the first one to be notified before. You won't have to go on YouTube and he put a video up. We'll be able to just reach out to you first base and let you know, hey, we're not going to be live or whatever the case might be. Or we're going to be in your city. It might be something that Most High may do something where, we're getting COVID cleared now. They're saying the numbers is going down. So that means the country's going to be opening up more, which means that you might be able to look for your brother Kazak to come to a city near you. So with that said, if you give me information, if I'm going to be near you, I can send you a text. Say, hey, I'm going to be in Florida. I'm going to be in Georgia. I'm going to be in South Carolina. I'm going to be in Chicago, right? Texas, might get out to Texas. Who knows, But if you send us a text message with your number, we can stay in contact. And if we come to your city, we're going to be nearby. Or if we just coming through and you just want to meet somewhere and grab a vegan burger or something. We can sit and chat and chill, So just text me, send me an email or text me and give me information so we can stay in contact. And then when you, need to know any pertinent information, we got you right there. All right. So I want to say I love y'all with the love of Yah. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you all coming back. Those that are here with us and those that will view it later. Maisha Avyah says the same. Will be probably back live again. It's windy out there. Tornado winds. We'll be back on next Shabbat. We might just make it to Florida and stream from there, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. Okay, with that said, brothers and sisters, love you to love Yah. And until the next time, shalom, shalom, shalom. Yahweh is in this temple. Let all the earth be silent before him. Praise him and his mercy, for his mercy endureth forever. And all the people said,